Hello, my dear people, and welcome back to the craft room. We are now at the middle point of 2026. Yeah, essentially the first half of this year has been really intense and very busy for me. Aside from that medical leave that I had to do beginning of this year before I did all that in the first episode of this series. Since then, I've actually gone back to work, and I've also got back from a family holiday in the Philippines. So that was really good. And yeah, it's just been back to back traveling, and it's just now that I've actually found the time to just slow down, breathe, and probably refocus my energy back to what I actually love most, which is my knitting and my crochet. And jumping right into my knitting projects. So since the last episode, I've mentioned that I wanted to do a year-long project for my knitting, and this year I actually decided to do the striped classic sweater, and I've actually done quite a good progress with this one. I did bring this project with me when I went on a holiday to the Philippines, and it's essentially what I was doing to help me pass the time. So whenever I was at the airport waiting for my boarding to happen, and even on the plane, I was knitting in there as well. I did have a long flight coming in from here to the Philippines. So that was a really nice kind of activity for me to do. Also, I was basically using my knitting as an activity for me to wind down at the end of the day. There was, I did a lot of island hopping, a lot of kind of like running around the place, doing all the touristy kind of activities that you would do. And at the end of the day, I was just tired, and I just really wanted to slow down, to breathe, and knitting was it for me. It was my wind down activity. It's my calming activity that just kind of, that I can just pick up, and I could go somewhere like a balcony or in my bed, and where I can just steal some moment away from all of that hecticness and also away from my family. I actually do needed that kind of like me time in between all of that. So I just kind of I like the idea of just grabbing my knitting bag, going to like the balcony, and then just sitting there for maybe an hour or so, just doing nothing but that. This is the knitting bag that I actually put my project in, and this is what I brought with me during my travels to the Philippines, and it's nice and kind of fairly small. It doesn't take a lot of space in my carry-on bag. So in here, I have my project itself. And with my yarn, I also have a spare yarn. I think I had one of the blue and one of the white ones. So this one that I've since been using here, because I didn't want to do yarn chicken. But also I have like a little ruler, and I have this little pouch which basically had all the little bits and pieces, like my stitch markers, a little yarn cutter, as well as some stuff for my knitting needles. So I have an interchangeable knitting needles, so I just have a couple of like little stuff that will help me, as well as spare knitting and kind of protectors. So that is essentially all fit in here. This is very stretchy, by the way. So with this classic striped sweater, oops, I've actually done this. So this is where I am now. I am now at the stripy part. Stripy part? I'm not sure. But I've done the ribbing and done the solid color, and I've now done the interchange of the stripes, and I'm now just basically interchanging between the blue and the white. And yeah, looking at this now, like this, actually getting to see how these two work together, I am loving it. I think the pattern called for white and red, but yes, I think I prefer the blue ones. I love this one. Oops, lost one. But yeah, so I've done good progress on this one, but I'm not as far progress that I wanted to be to begin with. I kind of was hoping that I'm kind of like more of this stripy part, but I didn't have a lot of time. But anyway, that is basically what I've done so far with the classic sweater. Aside from the classic striped sweater that I'm currently working on, I've also started another knitting project, a smaller one at this time, and that is boot cuffs. So the reason that I wanted to do this is because recently I've taken up to do ice skating, and I actually decided to invest myself in my own skating boots. And the laces that they have in those boots are very, very long, and they can get in the way when you kind of skate around. And usually what I would do is tuck them in. I've seen boot covers, like the fabric boot covers, but I didn't want to go buy that. And the more I thought about it, that part of me just kind of like took over, saying like, I don't need to buy this, I can make it myself. Like, and so this, it's not really long, but it is enough just to cover that part of my boots where the laces are. So this is a 2x2 knitting rib. So it is stretchy, somewhat stretchy, and I've actually enjoyed this. And I actually made this one using double pointed needles, so it is a very, very good kind of like little project for beginners who haven't used double pointed needles beforehand. And it gives you like the good practice to kind of like work with that kind of thing. It is a bit weird when I first started it out because I wasn't used to kind of like knitting with so many stuff around. So just to show you what it looks like working with double pointed needles, I have one that I'm working on right now. So this is actually not the pair of this one. This is a second variation, another variation of the boot cuff. So this is a 2x2 ribbing. This one is actually cable stitch. So I am practicing my cable stitching. So with this one, I do have the 2x2 knitting, the 2x2 rib, at the bottom, and then there's gonna be cable stitches for the main body, and then ending with another 2x2 rib. But yes, so this is what it looks like, and there's a lot of things going on in here, and I'm just not really used to kind of like working in this kind of setup. So this took me a while to kind of wrap my head around. It's a really good practice as well for the different kinds of stitches, especially with the cable stitches. This is my first time doing cable stitches for knitting, so it's a really good kind of little project to get some practice on and to try your hand at like new kind of stitches. I do want to do a third variation of the boot cuff, but I haven't really decided yet on what I wanted to try out for that one. If you guys have any suggestions, like techniques or patterns that I could have a go or try, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will be more than happy just to actually give them all a go. As for my crochet projects, I've actually only have one this year, which is kind of surprising because usually I have multiple crochet projects and they're all work in progress projects, so nothing is ever really finished. But this time around I only have one, which is, if I can find it, yes, it is this bag. It's a tote bag. So I think I mentioned this last time, but I was aiming to get this one done in time for my Philippine trip. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen because I haven't really finished the straps part, and then I had to go and leave for the Philippines. So that was a missed opportunity for me, but now I've actually done it. And I've also washed this as well, so I put this in the wash to block it. For some reason the straps are not cooperating with me, they're still curling on each other. But yeah, I think this one kind of shrunk a little bit. I'm not sure if it shrunk a little bit, but for some reason when it came out of the wash it looked smaller than I thought it would be. So I am calling this one the mini version. But I do really enjoy making this one. I want to make a bigger version with a longer strap because if you can see, it doesn't, especially if you're wearing like a thick jumper like this, it doesn't fully sit nice and properly over your shoulders. Maybe without the jumper it will be really great, but yeah, I want to do like a bigger version of this one. The bottom part is made of a thicker weight of cotton, and that is for stability. And same thing with the top part and the straps, it's made of a thicker weight cotton, also for stability, while we have the pretty decorative one in between. The tote bag is essentially the only crochet project that I have ongoing right now, but I do have basically a work in progress crochet project that has just been sitting in here for 2 years now, and that is, so I actually do have this same cotton yarn. It's a different colors, but it's basically the same brand and the same type of yarn as the yarn that I used for the main part of this bag. So they're all cotton yarns, and for this one I was pairing this with this kind of thinner yarn. I'm not really sure whether this is cotton or acrylic. do not remember, but I got this one from Daiso years ago when I was in Abu Dhabi, and for some reason I just couldn't find it in here, but I think I did find it at one of the stores here in Brisbane, but I can't remember where, so I'm gonna have to go back to it. But with these two, I actually created these hexagons. So I have this lighter hexagon, and I actually love this yarn because this is so light, and I think that this is gonna be a really perfect kind of like yarn for a summer kind of clothing. So I do want to get more of that yarn that I got from Daiso, but I've also created this other hexagon with the ombre colored yarn, and this one I've created multiple of these. As you can see, multiple of these ones, but for now they are staying as hexagons, the granny squares hexagons. So I don't really have like a plan on what the final product is going to be with these ones. I think initially they were going to be a blanket, but I kind of moved on from that, probably because I have way too many blankets in this house now. But yeah, again, if you have any kind of ideas on what to make out of these, I am more than happy to have a go at them. So what is the rest of 2026 looking like? So essentially, knitting, I have plenty to do with my knitting. I'm going to continue with the striped sweater. I am hoping, my aim is for that project at the end of this year, I'm hoping to really work my way up from the bottom to basically where the underarm is. So get up to here where the underarm meets the rest of the body. Get to a point before we start splitting the work into the different sections. So before we start splitting it into the front, the back, and the sleeves. Since it is going to be one construction, it's not like being worked on in different kind of panels and then we stitch them together. This is all worked all in one go. I do still have the chunky jumper that I worked on last year, and that one actually I'm following the pattern that came with it because it came as part of a kit. So I've actually, for that one, I finished the front, the back, and I haven't done the sleeves yet. So that one, I need to do the sleeves for that. I'm just not sure whether I will be going back to that one or not. As for my crochet projects, I just want to focus on my tote bag. I do want to play around if I can make a bigger version of this, and then I will take them both for like a test drive around town. I don't really have any other plans for any crochet projects. I think I'll just wait until inspiration strikes me. You never know. Plus, right now in Australia, it is currently winter. So that's why I'm wearing such chunky sweaters. I have been thinking about creating something for the summer, maybe like a beach cover up or a light top or anything. As I said, this yarn that I got from Daiso, I'm gonna see if I can hunt down one of these. I think it's a perfect yarn for kind of a summer top. So I will find the yarn first to see if I can find more of that one before I actually decide on creating another crochet project. And that is everything that we have in the craft room. And if you guys like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Head out to my blog to check out any of my previous posts, as well as also to follow me on my sewing journey as well. So until then, I will see you in the craft room.